Hi, Assalamualaikum. We meet again on the second lecture, okay, which is the economic basis of the government activities. Okay, we've been learning on the scope of the public finance, and when we talk about public finance, the boundaries towards the economy is, somehow not clear. Okay, so. Public finance is largely influenced by the economy, so that's why we need to learn on the types of economy so that we will be better understand on um, the scenario of the government throughout the world. Okay, so, first of all, we need to learn on what is mixed economy. Okay, by the way, the slides I already uploaded in the island, so you may refer to my folder, Nurliana Safian folder. Okay, okay. The scenario of mixed economy. So most of the nations nowadays practice mixed economy. So what is mixed economy then? Okay, look at the definition in the first slides. Okay, on the what is mixed economy? Mixed economy is a golden mixture of capitalism and socialism, which is under this system there is a freedom of economic activities and government interference for the social welfare. It is a blend of both economies. Okay, first and foremost, look at the first word. Okay, it is the mixture or it is a blend between capitalism and socialism. So we know that we have capitalism, we have socialism, and mixed economy is a blend, it's a combination of both. Okay, so we need to know first what is capitalism and what is socialism then. Okay, because we need to understand what is mixed economy, and mixed economy is a blend between these two. So what is these two? Okay, so when we talk about mixed economy, socialism and capitalism, it is actually under a continuum. Okay, it is under a continuum. Okay, which is at the left side we have capitalism. Okay, which is a pure market economy, and on the right side, okay, we have socialism. Okay, socialism is an economy where it is a planned economy. Okay, where the government take care of everything. Okay, while capitalism is the government left it to the market to run by itself. Okay, and in the middle we have mixed economy, the combination of both. Okay, look at the picture I provide. Okay, look at the pure capitalism. Okay, in a pure capitalism countries or pure capitalism economy or capitalist economy, there is a minimum government intervention in the economy. The government just let the economy run by its own, which is when we talk about free market. So what's constitute a free market? Free market is when we talk about market, market itself is a constitutions of supply and demand. Ada supply, ada demand, then constitutes a market. Okay, so free market is where supply and demand run by its own. For example, people want more water purifier, so the private sector provides. We want more vitamin C's, so the private sector provides. Okay, we want sophisticated phones, so the private sector provides. We want guns, so the private sector provides. So that is capitalism. Okay, so there is a minimum government intervention and the market run by its own. On the right side just now we have socialism. Okay, socialism is a kind of market where it is contrast, okay, 100% contrast with capitalism, where capitalism government have minimum intervention and market run by its own. In socialism economies, the government have 100% says in the economy. Okay, the government rule the economy. The government plan the economy. Okay, so whatever market, whatever new businesses, it is decided by the government. Okay, and in the middle, okay, we have mixed economy. Okay, mixed economy is where the market can run by its own. Okay, the market can run by its own, but government do interfere when necessary. Okay, so that is mixed economy, where capitalism is pure market, no government intervention or minimum government intervention. Socialist economy is where government rule the economy, and mixed economy is where market run by its own, but government interfere when necessary. So there are more countries, okay, more and more countries are moving towards the mixed economy, okay. But there are still some countries, okay, which is still practicing capitalist economy and socialist economy. Like capitalist economy, US, Japan, where they live the market run by its own. By socialist economy, where the government run everything, it is more towards China, Korea, okay. So look at the index of economic freedom. Okay, the index of economic freedom. The most free, the most free, the most country that can provide economic freedom with less government intervention is Hong Kong, Singapore, New Zealand, Switzerland, Australia. And the least free, okay, whereby the government interfere so much, okay, is the first one, South Korea, Venezuela, Cuba, Congo, and Eritrea. Okay. Okay. Let's us zoom in on each types of economy. Okay. The first one is capitalist economy. Okay. As I said, capitalist economy is where the kind of economy where the government let the market run by its own. Okay. More companies are privately owned, so means like government own almost nothing in the corporate sectors. Okay, so most of the companies outside there is owned by the private sector, and all this private sector is operated for making profits. Okay, we know that that is the ultimate aim of the private sectors, and it is a very competitive market. Okay, why? Because when we leave the market run by its own, people can choose whatever they want. They can compare, okay, in terms of quality, in terms of price. So if they don't want this product, they can move on to the other product. And all these companies will always, innovate. They will revise their technology in order to capture the market share, because they know that if they are not, innovate, okay, they have poor innovation, they are unable, to attract the customers and get the market share, because this is a pure market economy whereby the users, the consumers is free to choose whatever products they want. Okay, and the advantage of this kind of economy is the consumer may have wide range of product. They have wider choices. They can choose whatever they want. Okay, and then those companies who works hard will definitely get more. Why? Because those companies who invest so much on research, okay, research to find out what is the latest customer demands, okay, what is the latest engineering in order to provide the lowest price with a very good quality product. So those companies who works hard will get more. Okay, but the disadvantage is it encourage inequality. So those companies, yeah, the small companies who just want to get up, they are unable to do so. Why? Because all these big companies definitely they have larger capital, and they'll be invest. They will invest so much. Okay, they will invest so much on research, so they will have better products. Okay, and these small companies were unable to compete. Okay, so normally these capitalists, they encourage more monopoly. Okay, because only those who have high capital will able to do so. Okay, okay, that is capitalist economy. Then we have socialist economy, socialism economy. Okay, like I said, where capitalist is a purely market economy. Socialist, on the other hand, is where government intervene as much as they can. Okay, in a socialist economy, they believe in a planned economy. They believe that government need to plan. Okay, government need to plan what sectors that they need to improve, what sectors that still lacking, what sectors that we should encourage more participations from the private sectors. So they believe that government should plan almost everything. Okay, so here in this socialist economy, government play a very prominent role. Okay, like what we have in previously in Japan, in Korea, in Taiwan. Okay, whereby government rule almost everything. Okay, I would like to explain on the Japanese government. Okay, previously they are the socialist economy. Okay, why? Because during the World War II, they actually lost almost everything. Okay, because when the US attacked them in the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, abang, Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombing. Okay, so they actually lost almost everything. So they need to start back working on the economy. So they unable to just leave at the free market to run by its own, because they have no active companies that can boost up the economy at that time, because they left of nothing. Okay, so what they do is they go for planned economy, whereby the government create a biggest conglomerates in Japan. We call that as kaizen. Okay, they create that, and the government own most of the companies in Japan. Okay, they know that they need to build there's construction sites that is owned by the government, and these are actually under the conglomerates of the government. Okay, a biggest conglomerates of government. Same goes to Korea. Okay, Korea also, the government of Korea own almost companies in Korea. Okay, they call it the biggest conglomerate. They call it as chaebol. CHAEBOL. Okay, chaebol. Okay, where the government owns almost every companies. Okay, from the manufacturing of pencils, marks, to the manufacturings of cars like the Hyundai. Okay, to the manufacturings of the airplanes. Okay, the airplane industries, all it's owned by the government, because the government knows that they need to build the economies as fast as possible. So that's why they believe in a planned economy. Okay, uh, that's why Japanese, the Taiwan's, the Korea is called the Asian four tigers. Okay, this is one of the successful formula for them. They believe in planned economy. Okay, so in the where in the left side we have capitalist economy, in the right side we have socialist economy, and in the middle we have mixed economy. Okay, where it capture the benefits of capitalist economy and the socialist economy. The benefit of capitalist economy, whereby the market can run by its own, and people have wider choices of products. But in socialist economy, the government interference somehow is crucial, especially in where the pure market economy fails to operate. Okay, so that's why mixed economy emerged, existed. PMB. Okay, and in pure market economy, how it regulates is where the market can run by its own. The producer of product can produce whatever they want, but the government will interfere when necessary. Okay, so the market can run by its own, and the government interfere when necessary. Okay, like in Malaysia, okay, the producer can produce whatever they want. Okay, they can produce whatever they want. All these, the newcomers, okay, yang banyak produk-produk kosmetik, produk-produk menguruskan badan, produk-produk untuk meninggikan, membesarkan, okay. So all these products, all these producers can produce whatever they want. Okay, you kalau tiba-tiba ada, nenek you tanam whatever, tanam tanaman kat belakang, then you nak combine tanaman tu, you cakap okay, this is a products of kecantikan, for example. Okay, you can do so. Okay, just good packaging, then you can just sell your product. But the government will interfere when necessary. When necessary is when you overclaim your product, for example. Okay, you cakap you dah buat produk, you cakap produk ni boleh mengubati cancer, for example. Then the government will step in. Okay, so the advantage is this economy will reduce the income inequality, okay, whereby markets can still operate. Those producers, those SMEs will operate, okay, not just like the capitalist economy. Producers can have freedom, okay. Consumers also have wider choices, but the disadvantage is one of it is fear of nationalization. Fear of nationalization means when companies they are doing so good, okay, they are doing very good, and then they are doing very good until they are doing so good. There are tendency where the government may take over the companies. Okay. Then look at the slides on the role of the government. Okay, so what is the role of the government in the economy? The first one is to maintain political and economic stability in the country. Okay, we know that government, it is important for the government to maintain a very good political stability. Okay, political stability means here there's no war, no riots, and like in Malaysia nowadays, our economy is not stable because each parties, they chase over power. Okay, so they run over power, so this is not good for the economy, as especially when the investors outside there, they want to find countries to invest. One of it is they will look upon the political stability. Okay, so when we have unstable kind of politics, so it is not good for our economy. Okay, government also is responsible to maintain economic stability. Government need to control the unemployment rate, the inflation rate, the consumer price index, the fuel prices. This is way, okay, in order to ensure that our economic is stable, so that all the investors who interested to invest in Malaysia will get to invest in Malaysia. Then at the same time, not maintaining the political and economic, but the government also is responsible to protect the public interest. Okay, so they need to fulfill various public demands, as far as they can go. Okay, they need to provide a good welfare to the citizens. They need to encourage a stable economic growth. Okay, how to encourage stable economic growth? They need to ensure there's numbers of investors, a lot of investors coming in Malaysia, so we can get more revenue from there. So when we get more revenue from there, we will be able to invest it in the domestic economy, so that we can provide we can provide employment opportunities. When employment opportunities is there, so people have, better purchasing power. When we have better purchasing power, the economy will be running smoothly. And the next one is reducing market failure. Okay, I will touch that on later part, okay, where we have more market failure discussion. Okay. So, what is the government action to achieve the health economy? First, government need to implement a balanced budget. Okay, there are actually arguments on to implement a balanced budget. It's actually quite impossible. Okay, balanced budget is where you have revenue and expenditure equal. Okay, which is modern economies. Okay, like the Paul Krugman, he actually strongly disagree with this. Okay, because um, a balanced budget is not a good, a benchmark of saying that that economy is a health economy. Okay, how about those countries who have lots of billions of expenditure, but they still can do well, because it shows that they are actually doing something for the economy. Then reforming the tax structures towards more equitable tax policy. Okay, when we talk about equitable tax policy, equitable here means, okay, the richer needs to help the poor. Okay, so in an income distribution, in an economy, we know that the richer gets more. So the government will extract, somehow will extract the wealth of the richer and distribute it to the poor people. So government is responsible to reform this tax structure. Reforms here means, change this tax structure for improvement. Okay, when the government introduce SSTs, GSTs, that is reforms. And when government change the rate of income tax, corporate tax, that is also reform. So in tax structures, those richer will be taxed more, and that tax money will be used in order to improve the life of the poor people. And then the third one is controlling inflation and employment rate. Inflation and employment rate is one of the two indicators on to see whether the economy is doing good or not. Okay, so that's why government need to control inflation and unemployment rate. How to control inflation? That is by controlling the price of goods. Okay, so what is inflation? Inflation is the general price increase. Okay, whereby most of the products, for example, in Malaysia, have increment in prices. So we call that as inflation. Kalau satu dua produk je naik harga, that is not inflation. Inflation here means general price increase. Most of the products in the economies have increment in price. So government need to control that. When inflations happen, people have less purchasing power. When people have less purchasing power, the producer are able to produce more, and this will create more unemployment. Okay, because when the producers are unable to produce more, there's no jobs, so the unemployment will increase. So that's why the government need to control the inflation rate. Then government also need to generate a better investment climate. Government need to create, okay, a better investment landscape in Malaysia, so that when the outsiders looks on Malaysia, they know that Malaysia is a very good hub to invest. Okay, so that's why government invested so much on infrastructures like ECRL, HSR in order to improve, the accessibility between one place to another, so that when the investors outside there see Malaysia, they know that, oh, Malaysia have a very good infrastructures, so it will help us in doing business. The investors outside there won't invest on those countries whereby to go to one place to another place is very, very difficult. There's no proper roads. Kalau nak pergi pun, it takes hours. Okay, so this will increase the cost. So that's why infrastructures is one of it. Then we have better communication. That's why all these, telecommunication providers invest in 4G, 5Gs. One of it is to generate a better investment climate. And then the last one is to maintain the foreign exchange rate. Okay, the currency of Malaysia or the currencies of any currencies in the world is subjected to the supply and demand. Okay, the currency is also a market. Okay, our mata wang also is considered a market. Okay, whereby there are supply and demand. Okay, when the demand of ringgit is a lot, okay, so this will make the price of ringgit increase. Or when the supply of ringgits a lot, so this will reduce the price of the ringgit. So the government, through the Bank Negara, is responsible to maintain the currency exchange rate. That's why, like what I told you in the last lecture, whereby during the 1998 financial crisis, the Bank Negara pegged the ringgit in order to maintain the foreign currency exchange rate. If not, our currency exchange will drop down so bad. Okay, at that time. Okay, so that is the government action to achieve relative health economy. Just now I touched about market failure. So this is market failure. When we talk about market is constitutions of supply and demand. When there is demand, there is a supply, and it works vice versa. Okay, so that is market. So sometimes this market fails. It's either because of less supplies or less demands. So this is condition of market phase. Market constitutions of supply and demand, and when supply are able to supply, so that is considered as market failure. Okay. So in the event of market failure, in the mixed economic environment, government must step in. Okay, I would like to stress out just now. Okay, in mixed economy, the government will let the market to run by its own. Okay, government will let supply and demand to run by its own, but government will interfere when necessary. And market failure is one of the conditions. Is where when government sees that the supply unable to operate, that the producer to supply that kind of products, so government will step in order to satisfy the society's needs. Okay. So how does the market fail? Okay, there are 5 conditions. First, public goods. Second, externalities. Third, monopolies. Fourth, unfair distribution of income. And the fifth one is imperfect knowledge. Okay, the first one, public good. Okay. Private sector will provide products for the consumers to buy, because their ultimate aim is to get profits. Okay, so they will provide what? Vitamins. They will produce cars. They will produce more houses, because they know that is what the consumers want, and they produce it in order for them to get profits. But how about public goods? How about schools? How about healthcare? How about defense? Okay, so uh, we can't leave the defense system to the private sector. Okay, so let's say we have war and then we just leave it to the private sector to run the defense system. So let's say our private sector found out that we are actually losing, kita tak ada, kalah dalam peperangan, and then we lose so much, we face so much losses, rugi, so they stop. So they stop to provide the defense system. So how about our country? Okay, so there are some products, some services that private sector are able to provide. Okay, like education. Education, yes, we have international school, private school, but we have, public at large. Okay, these private schools are, so expensive. So the consumers are able to buy for the, to purchase for the services. So that's why government need to step in. Okay, defense, internal defense like police, whatsoever, the private sector unable to provide. So that's why government need to step in order to satisfy the society's want in the event of, and if there are no producer to provide public good. Okay, and then we have externalities. Okay, externalities. Okay, this is how I explain. Externalities is the effects of market transactions on third parties other than buyers and sellers. The effects of transactions on the third parties other than buyer and seller. Just now I talk about market, which is supply and demand. Dalam supply and demand ada buyer and seller. Okay, so ada third party yang tidak terlibat dalam market ini. Okay, this person is not involved in the transactions of the market transaction between buyer and seller, but this third party get benefits or get harm or get effects from the transaction. So that is externalities. I give you example. Ahmad beli rokok. Kedai 99 provide rokok. So Ahmad is a buyer, kedai 99 is a seller. Ahmad dapat keseronokan dengan mengisap rokok. 99 dapat profit from the purchase of Ahmad. Ahmad and kedai 99 win-win situation. Ahmad pergi kedai makan, dia isap rokok sebelah Ali. Okay. Ali tak beli rokok, Ali tak bayar pada rokok, tapi Ali hidup asap rokok yang diberi Ahmad. Okay. So Ali jatuh sakit, Ali kena cancer. So how about Ali? Ali is a third party who get harms on the transaction between Ahmad and kedai 99. Ali is considered as externalities effects. Not only that, is example of negative externalities. We also have positive externalities. Okay, example. Ali beli CCTV dekat rumah, install. Kedai CCTV install dekat Ali. So Ali dapat CCTV, dapat mengurangkan kadar jenayah di rumahnya. Kedai CCTV dapat profit. Win-win situation. Okay. Ahmad duduk sebelah rumah Ali. Okay, tapi dia tak pasang CCTV sebab dia dah banyak beli rokok tadi. Okay. Ahmad tak pasang CCTV. Okay. So ada perompak masuk rumah Ahmad. CCTV rumah Ali capture. Ali tunjuk CCTV dekat Ahmad, polis tangkap. So Ahmad enjoy the benefit of CCTV dekat rumah Ali. Ahmad tak bayar CCTV. Okay, so this is positive externalities. Okay, so externalities is the effects, either positive or negative, received by the third party on the transactions between the buyer and the seller. Okay. Okay, I will explain on externalities in the subsequent slides on the positive and negative externalities. But here I just explain on what is externalities. And then monopoly. Okay, in the monopoly, government also step in. Okay, when government just let the market to run by its own, but when government found out that there are only one companies that tend to monopoly the economy, and then there are, when there is monopoly, this monopoly doesn't care about other companies. They don't care about the consumers so much. They know that, want it or not, the consumers will buy the services provided by this monopoly company. Okay, so that's why government need to fix this market failure by um, step in. Okay, in Malaysia we have Astro, for example. Astro doesn't care. People keep complaining, bayar mahal tapi cerita ulang-ulang, and the consumers bring this to the parliament, through the ahli parlimen, and parliament discuss this, kenapa Astro banyak iklan whatsoever. But still, if let's say Astro tak nak berubah, you tak nak, then you just withdraw your Astro services. They don't care. So that's why in the monopoly system, the government need to step in. Okay, the next one is unfair distribution of wealth. Unfair distribution of wealth happens when when the free market runs. So we know that there is tendency for the richer to become more rich and the poor to become more poor, and there is a discrimination in economy. Okay, so that's why the government need to step in the housing industry. For example, the price of the house increasing year by year. Okay, so the poor people unable to purchase the houses. So that's why the government need to step in by providing, like now, my deposit. Government give free deposits. Government provide perumahan Satu Malaysia, where government can get lower prices house compared to the private sector producers of house. So that is how government helps in the housing industries. Government also need to step in when they have imperfect knowledge. Okay, when the consumers have imperfect knowledge. Yes, we know that private sectors can produce whatever they want. Like I said, if let's say you want to be you want to come up with a product kurus, so you can just take whatever plants that you have in your house, you just blender, and then you put in a very good packaging, and then you sell it in Shopee. You can do that in the mixed economy. But then if let's say your products give harms, okay, makan orang sakit, then makan orang sakit buah pinggang. Okay, so here government need to step in. Okay, government need to step in. That's why Kementerian Kesihatan akan adakan ambush, tarik produk, saman. Okay, so this is where the government or produk yang labelnya salah ataupun produk yang tak ada label, the government through KPDN KK will step in order to correct this market failure. Okay, the government functions to overcome market failure. First one is to prevent monopoly control over prices. Okay, that's why like I said, like in the case of Astro, for example, this case have been brought up to the parliament to discuss on the subscription fees of Astro, which is somehow ridiculous. So government will step in. Then in the event of economy are not stable, okay, so even yes, government just leave it to the supply and demand to rule the market. But if let's say the economy are unstable, like what we have in the COVID-19 now, okay, the government need to step in. Okay, so when government step in, government introduce various policies. We have two types of major policies, which is monetary policies and fiscal policy. Monetary policies is the policies which involve about money. Okay, when we talk about monetary policy, it actually involve the circulation of money in the market. So we couldn't have so much money in the market. So much money in the market happens when people have wider purchasing power. They have lots of purchasing power, so they purchase, and purchase. They shopping, and then we have lots of money in the market. So when there's lots of money in the market, the price of the money will drop down. Or when the money is, there are less money in the market, so less until the price of the ringgit goes up. So this is also not good for the economy. That's why Bank Negara will control this circulation of the money in the economy. And then if let's say there is so much money in the market, normally the central bank, the Bank Negara, will ask all these bank, will instruct all these bank to increase the fixed deposit rate. Okay, duit banyak sangat dalam pasaran. Okay, people purchase almost everything. So when duit banyak sangat dalam pasaran, the Bank Negara knows that this is not good. So Bank Negara will instruct all this bank, okay, dia akan cakap kepada bank-bank ni, tolong increasekan fixed deposit rate, so that orang-orang kaya kat luar sana yang banyak duit akan masukkan duit dalam bank sebagai simpanan supaya untuk mengurangkan duit di dalam pasaran. Or okay, kalau duit di dalam pasaran kurang, macam waktu PKP hari tu, orang tidak berbelanja, okay, people are not spending, people semua stay at home, so this will increase the price of the ringgit. So what the government do is, government ask all these bank untuk turunkan rate untuk kalau nak beli higher purchase loan, nak beli kereta, nak buat personal loan, government will reduce the government instructed all the banks untuk turunkan kadar pinjaman supaya people meminjam. And then when people meminjam, this will increase, people will purchase, and this will increase back the money in the market. Okay. Okay, now let's look on the public goods slides. Okay, public goods is the goods with benefit that cannot be withheld from those who do not pay and shared by a large group of consumers. So when we talk about public goods, it's a type of goods where we cannot say no, okay, to this person to use these goods. Okay, tak boleh cakap, oi, tak boleh, kau tak boleh enjoy this benefit. Cannot. Okay, that is public goods, and it is shared between large number of people. So what is the characteristics of public good? First, normally it is provide. Okay, the public goods is provided using the money of taxes, like schools, hospitals, parks. Then it is non-exclusion, where everyone can use the goods. Okay, you cannot say that these people cannot use the goods because of let's say he or she doesn't pay tax. Example, if let's the national defense, okay, even let's say this person, we are actually in the war, and rumah nombor 57 tak bayar cukai, so you can the army cannot say that, oh, rumah 57 kita tak payah protect sebab tak bayar cukai. Okay, so that is public goods. Non-exclusion, semua boleh enjoy the benefit regardless dia bayar cukai ke tak bayar cukai. Then non-rival in consumption. One person consumption does not reduce the usefulness of others. For example, if you go to clinic, you want to public clinic, you want to get you want to get services, and kalau you pergi, tak kurang pun ubat dekat klinik tu untuk orang lain pergi pula. Okay, or you go at the private parks, public parks, you jogging. Kalau you jogging, tak kurang pun you jogging, tak ada pun hilang pula jalan-jalan you jogging tu, path yang you jogging tu untuk orang lain jogging juga. Kalau private parks, okay, let's say normally private parks kecil, so dia limit lah 10 orang ke 20 orang boleh masuk at one time. Kalau you lambat, you tak boleh dapat the benefit. Okay, so that is non-rival in consumption. Then no direct user charge, as this is provided by the government using the tax money. So normally tak ada direct user charge. Macam dekat klinik yang you bayar RM1, that is not your user charge. Okay, user charge tu kalau you pergi klinik swasta, you kena bayar RM40-50. So in a public clinic, you don't have to pay that charge. Okay. Okay, normally the methods to provide public goods is free of charge. Semua orang boleh enjoy the benefit. The cost is borne by the government. Okay, so we do not need to pay anything. And the free rider, I will talk about free rider later. So, but when we talk about public goods, people have various demands. So government sometimes unable to provide. Okay, so people want, a free high speed internet. Okay, but government unable to provide. So what are the constraints of providing public goods? First, unlimited demand and limited supply. Okay, people have wide range of demand, macam-macam nak. Okay, we want free universities, we want free we want free internet. Okay, but the government have limited supply to do so. Government has short of fund, tak cukup duit nak supply dalam keadaan free. Higher cost to provide that, provide higher cost. Macam nak provide high speed internet free, it's actually higher cost. And then it also involve political influence. Okay, let's say it depends on the leader, it depends on prime minister. Ada setengah prime minister is more towards providing public goods. Ada setengah, I don't want to provide more public goods, I want to develop more economies by creating more mega projects. And the last one is again free rider. I will explain on free rider later. So if let's say that is the previous method. So nowadays, how government provide public goods? Government charge a little bit on the public goods. Dulu tak ada price. Government completely borne the cost by the government. Okay, but now government charge sikit. Kalau you pergi klinik, charge sikit. So any services yang you buat dekat mana-mana, majlis ke, mana-mana jabatan ke, government will charge. Okay, but a very minimum cost. Then government also enforce proper rules and regulation. Let's say you want to enjoy the public goods, but there are some certain rules and regulation that you need to comply. And also, if let's say government unable to provide, government will privatize, like the highway. Okay, previously owned by the government, but when government knows that government have shortage of fund in order to do so, so government privatize that. So the private sector charge the users to use the highways. Okay, so that is present methods of providing public goods compared to previous methods where all the cost is borne by the government. Okay, now let's look on the free rider. Okay, a free rider is a person who seeks to enjoy the benefits of public good without contributing anything. Dia nak enjoy public goods tapi tak contributes anything. Maksudnya dia nak enjoy sekolah, nak enjoy nak guna jalan, nak enjoy healthcare tapi tak nak bayar cukai. That is a free rider. Okay, dia nak free je semua, tak nak bayar cukai. Okay, so that is a free rider. So it is a problem where public goods are underprovided or not provided at all, stem from incentive people who have to enjoy the external benefit financed by others with no cost to themselves. Okay, dia biar orang lain je bayar cukai, dia tak bayar cukai, tapi dia boleh enjoy the benefit of sama macam orang lain. Okay, that is a free rider. Then externalities, I already explained just now what is externalities. Okay, where third party get effects from the transaction between buyer and seller. So there are two types of externalities, negative and positive. Okay, negative macam smoking just now or pollution. Okay, contohnya company A and company B. Company A dia buat plastik, company B jual raw material nak buat plastik. Okay, so company B supply plastik kat company A produce plastik tu, okay, orang dekat Taman Megah tak beli pun plastik dekat situ, okay, tak beli pun plastik dekat company A and B. Okay, lepas tu ada pollution, orang Taman Megah sakit masuk hospital. Okay, so orang Taman Megah is considered externalities, negative externalities. And then positive externalities macam macam saya cakap tadi, CCTV, vaksin. Okay, contoh anak saya vaksin, anak dia tak vaksin, tapi disebabkan anak saya vaksin jadi anak dia tak kena penyakit. Okay, sebab semua orang vaksin. Okay, so that's why that is positive externalities. So when it happens, okay, so why government need to step down? Okay, because in order to protect the third parties yang tidak bersalah ni, yang contoh yang tadi Ahmad tu tidak merokok, okay, so nak protect yang tidak bersalah ni, so government need to step in. So how government step in? By correcting or internalize the externalities. Okay, kejap lagi, you dah sana dulu. Okay, nanti kita beli. Okay, how government internalize externalities? Okay, it occurs when the marginal private benefits or cost of goods and services are adjusted so that the users considers the actual margin social benefit or cost at their decision. Maksud dia cakap kalau benefit tu atau cost tu ada efek kepada third party, so akan ada adjustment on the price of the product supaya orang yang menghisap rokok ke orang yang buat pollution tu boleh berkira-kira untuk tindakannya. Okay. Okay, so how to internalize externalities? For negative externalities, government can provide taxes. Okay, that's why dalam rokok, alkohol, okay, government provide tax. Nak beli rokok ada cukainya. Okay, kenapa? Sebab government boleh guna cukai rokok ni untuk membantu the third party yang sakit tadi to get healthcare benefits. Okay, sebab dia dan ahli yang nak beli rokok tadi boleh berkira-kira lah nak beli rokok sebab rokok ada harganya mahal. Okay, so dia boleh berkira-kira nak beli, dia boleh this price will affect the decision to purchase the cigarettes. Okay, and then that is negative externalities. Government impose tax there for good things macam CCTV, vaksin. So government provide subsidies. Okay, contohnya kalau siapa beli CCTV, government bagi subsidi untuk beli CCTV, or government bagi pelepasan cukai. Siapa beli CCTV, cukai dia akan dikurangkan. Okay, so that is corrective subsidies. Okay, the third one, macam mana government boleh internalize the externalities? By providing rules and regulation. Contoh, tidak boleh merokok di tempat awam, di kedai-kedai makan supaya menjaga this third party. Then government monopoly. Okay, kalau government rasa benda tu boleh affect the third party. Okay, so government monopolize the macam kalau third party tu sakit, so government monopoli lah healthcare services, so that kalau third party sakit, so government boleh tolong the third party. Cost to the government or on unavoidable situation. So government tak nak contoh macam cukai macam pollution hari tu, pollution dekat air, dekat loji rawatan air dekat Semenyih, dekat KL. Because of that, sebab the transaction between company A and company B yang tak bertanggungjawab, efek kepada seluruh warga Selangor dan airnya tercemar dan mereka tak ada air. So memang government will penalize these companies, but government also need to come out with some cost in order to bersihkan semula air tu so that semua rakyat Selangor dapat enjoy water services kan. So that is how government need to come up with the cost. Bila tak ada decision lain, tak ada tak ada action lain to be taken, yang better action to be taken in order to rectify the problem. Then effect to the public, so government will provide awareness, okay, macam rokok, kempen untuk tidak merokok, untuk kurangkan orang-orang ni daripada merokok. Okay. Okay, that is all. Okay, untuk lecture today. So if you have, I know that this chapter is quite technical. If you, let's say, you have any difficulties in understanding any of the explanation by me, then you may ask during the tutorial. Ask me, okay? Because that is the purpose of tutorial, whereby you need to enhance your understanding. Because during lecture, you susah nak tanya. Then on the tutorial, you better you ask, so that you will enhance your understanding. That's all for today. Thank you.